What's up, you mother fathers? This is Beckton 99, your Lord and personal 2K savior sometimes. What we doing this evening? It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've directly spoken to the FBI. Do we have a purpose tonight? I don't know. What is purpose? I just read something that the director Kevin Smith, he just reacquired the rights to his old movie Dogma that I watched a long time ago. Interesting for him. I was pretty young or a teenager when the movie came out, so I thought it was funny. I don't know how funny I would think it is in the modern context, but I did enjoy it. I'm waiting for all the episodes of Murderbot to release. I thought about getting the audiobook, but the audiobook is pretty short. There's like 7 of them, but they're all like 5 hours or something. So I'm like, I don't know if that's really worth it, because after reading the Game of Thrones books or whatever, any book that's less than 30 hours, I'm real reticent about paying for the audiobook, because I'm like, was the author even trying? You know? Like, not every story needs to be 1,000 pages, but 200 or 300 or 400, I'm like, is that really a novel? It's almost like it's a short story, if you ask me. So I don't know about that. I might just watch the TV show. I'm looking forward to watching F1 or Formula One with Brad Pitt in a few weeks. I just tried to watch the Al Pacino Exorcism movie, and in my mind I was like, damn, bro. Everybody need money. So I don't begrudge Al for getting the money or getting to the money. And maybe he just likes acting, I don't know. But the cynical part of me is like, he's just trying to get money to pay his baby mama or something. So, but that's just me, being callous or just trolling or just, emulating some of the hate that I see online or whatever. So I don't know what his circumstances are. And even if his circumstances are dire, my everyday circumstances are equally as dire and less cool than being in a movie, even if it's not, Scarface, or something like that. So I had to check my, not really my privilege, but I had to just, zero in on my perspective and understand, we all, at different points in our lives, we have to sort of compromise our vision to get to where we're trying to go. So, but it would be cool, or cooler in my mind. Obviously, I'm not him, but it'd be cooler if he could retire on top or chill out or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But, it doesn't matter. I hope he has another 15 movies in him. And he's still got a full head of hair. So that's amazing. His parents, whatever genes they gave him, Al Pacino never went bald. So that's a personal triumph, I think, there for him. And I don't know. He's forgotten more about acting than we'll ever know. So But yeah, I didn't get through the whole movie of that. I think it's called The Ritual. Tonight. I want to end up watching the Predators movie, the animated one, just to see what they talking about. If it was up to me, I don't know what's going on in the movie. I kind of do. I kind of know the premise, but I was gonna say they should have paid for a cartoon version of Adrian Brody to pop off in that thing. But maybe they, whoever's making the new ones, they don't want to. They don't want to acknowledge that movie or whatever. But I'd have been down for that. Or in lieu of all of that shit, give us an animated movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger is fighting the Predator again. You know. Or I pay the money for an animated Conan, the old man Conan that they were always talking about. Obviously, if you did it live action, it wouldn't be the same because you'd have to have Schwarzenegger in fur all the time to kind of hide how frail he is or whatever. But I think animated, the idea could still work because they just did that Amazon movie where he was animated, or the Amazon TV show Secret Level. Past that, I don't have too many more plans. I've been playing the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, I guess, remaster, and some of the locations. I mean, like the graphics are good, but then like sometimes you walk into the caves and you're like, these caves look, or tombs, they look a lot alike. And I suppose that was the same back in the day for like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, even though they're kind of sometimes procedurally generated, they still kind of, end up looking the same. I think the whatever the last Fallout was, they number 4 or something, they did a pretty good job of balancing it, but I was just exploring the world and I was like, but that was, but I still like the combat right now in Elder Scrolls. I'm only like an hour or two in, maybe 20 hours in. I'll be like, this is redundant, but I love progressing in RPGs and feeling like you're getting stronger and whatnot. And then any time to really be an archer, I'm always down to clown. Yeah, I guess one of the points I was trying to make a few moments ago, I don't know if I really hit the hammer on the head of the nail when I did it, but I was going to say, like, I was looking at Al Pacino acting, and then I was listening to Lil Wayne rapping, and I was like, which one, has more in the tank or more left in the tank? And I wasn't sure if Al Pacino had more left or if Lil Wayne had more left, but they both had, their time in the sun, and, it doesn't matter, how we interpret the art, it's more about their expression and having that, space for creativity. In the case of Lil Wayne, I do think there are more nuances to the situation because he was publicly looked over for the Super Bowl, and some people pointed to, how his stage show is or whatever, and so he had an opportunity with this album to turn some heads, to make sure that the production was tight, pay for ghostwriters if he needed to, crazy hooks, crazy beats, crazy features. He went crazy, but like to the left, like in a direction that we didn't expect the crazy from. We thought the crazy would come from quality, but he went crazy in another direction. And he kind of gave, you know, detractors ammunition, you know? And is there a way in 2025 Lil Wayne could have made an album to rival Kendrick Lamar's? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. He just shouldn't have been in charge of writing it. But at a certain point, he's been rapping since he was a teenager. Hopefully he's got his, his financial portfolio where he needs it to be, and his family can be rich forever. And sure, people will say, oh, this one wasn't that great, but it doesn't matter. And his competition with Kendrick doesn't really matter either, because it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, could Mike Tyson beat Muhammad Ali, in their primes? And we'll never know, because there is no time machine to put them together. I always tell people Kendrick, he is amazing. I don't know. People say he writes all his stuff, but I'm like, come on, bro. If you believe that, then you believe that Jay-Z still writes his songs. And my big example of the reason why Jay-Z does not write his songs, or hasn't in a long time, like in the last 10, 15 years, let's say since the Blueprint 2. Smokey Robinson, Babyface, Brian McKnight. There is one outlier that's still making good songs, but I think he does it from like a farming perspective. And I don't know, these is all unfounded, but Raphael Saadiq is one of the few producers. Like, Raphael Saadiq contributed to Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album. Babyface has a credit on Snooze, that, I guess Leon Thomas kind of produced for SZA. But what I'm trying to say is that every great songwriter eventually plateaus, And so I'm saying Jay-Z isn't the first person, isn't the only person in all of music history to figure out the secret to being good forever. Fuck no. I don't believe that. So with Kendrick Lamar, very, very talented. He can rap, he can record, he can, he has subject matter for days. Is he writing everything? I don't know. I don't believe it though. And it doesn't matter, because he's an artist. He's more than just a rapper. And so it's like, the beat choice, let's give him the best beats. Let's give him the best writers. Let's say he wrote it. Hell, let's have him pay the people to take their name off the thing. We don't know. We'll never know. But if you want to believe in the mystique that Kendrick just does everything by himself, and he's just his pen is just crazy, consistent. Okay, you can have that. I believe it's more of a collaboration thing than we'll ever really know, unless there's some type of reveal that happens later. Here nor there. When Lil Wayne was young, he was amazing. Before 2010, amazing. We're 15 years past 2010. It's gonna be some drop off. And that's to be expected. Do I ever need to hear another Lil Wayne album again? Probably not. Probably not. I don't, unless, he's going to surprise us or something, but nah. And I'm kind of over the sequelization trend of, hip hop. Like, even when Lupe Fiasco did Food and Liquor Part 2, I cringed. I said, no, don't cheapen the original. In all honesty, The Carter 1 and 2, I never listened. I never listened to the whole Carter 1 or 2. I have songs that I like off of them. I mean, like, I've listened to them when they came out, but like in the modern context, I don't just throw on the Carter 1 and Carter 2. Carter 3 for me is mostly defined by Lollipop and maybe a Millie if a Millie was on there. I'm not even sure what the track listing was on Carter 3, Carter 4, Carter 5, Carter 6 now. Fuck no. I don't care about 4 or 5. I don't listen to them. I don't know anything off of them, but, by memory. And this new one is like, just stop sequelizing this series. The biggest conceit in the rollout of this new album for Lil Wayne was that he had to call it the Carter 6. If he was confident or super motivated behind the scenes to release this album, he could have called it anything else and let it stand on his own legs. But he wanted to call it the Carter 6 for whatever reason. I don't know his logic. But part of the reason was to trade off of the momentum of the series that he already had. And at a certain point, you should say, no, this music speaks for itself. I believe in this product. Let's call it something else. And let the Carter chill, let it rest. But he went a different way. I've been yapping at you for 17 minutes. This is, like I said, mostly for me, mostly for the FBI. So I'll end it here. This sort of stream of consciousness. Stream of conscious. But thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later.